Welcome, and thanks for being part of the Teddy Bear Portraits experience. You know, over the years, Teddy Bear has done a great job providing excellent photography and top-notch customer service to our clients. But we're always on the lookout for ways we can get the word out about the work we do. That's why this year we're trying something new. Video testimonials about Picture Day filmed by you, the photographer. We want to make you a direct part of our marketing efforts by gathering testimonials using a tool you all use every day, a smartphone. We're going to show you how that works. Smartphone cameras are great for shooting video on the fly, and by following a few simple rules, you can get a testimonial that feels authentic but also conveys a strong message. The first rule is to fill the frame. Make sure your camera phone is close enough to your subject so that they're clear and prominent in the video and the sound is as high quality as possible. For smartphones, as with any microphone, the closer you are to your subject, the clearer the sound will be. Your subject's head should almost touch the top of the frame, and the bottom should cut off at about the middle of their torso. Also, make sure to frame your subject at either the right third or left third of the frame so that we can overlay text and pull quotes as needed. The second rule is to keep an eye on your backgrounds. You want to choose an environment that is relatively open and free of distractions, and you want to make sure your subject is at least a few feet away from any walls. If you can, find a hallway, open office, or an empty classroom that is relatively clutter-free and free of foot traffic. Remember, the fewer distractions in your video, the better the product will be. Here's what an interview looks like when your subject is backed against a wall. It feels confined, and your subject doesn't look very comfortable or natural. Here's what a cluttered background does to your interview. It's distracting and detracts from the organized message you're trying to convey. Find a location with some nice natural light. Anywhere with some large windows will be just fine. Make sure your subject is front lit and that your exposure is metered to properly illuminate your subject rather than the environment. Frame your subject and tap on them in the frame to lock your focus and your exposure. Here's an example of a backlit situation. It's poorly exposed and the lighting isn't balanced, not to mention all the distractions in the background. Take a few minutes to find a spot with good lighting. It's worth it and it'll really show in the final product. Here's an example of bad lighting and a loud environment. Typically, overhead lights won't give you as good of a result as large windows, so make sure you find a place with good natural light. If you think it'll make your subject more comfortable to sit, have them sit at the front of the chair with good posture as opposed to slouching or leaning back. You want your subject to look comfortable, but also composed and professional. Also make sure that the camera is slightly above their eye line. A higher camera angle is typically more flattering to most people. Lastly, as you're filming, make sure to keep eye contact with your subject as opposed to staring at the screen. Frame your subject, then bring the camera down slightly so you can begin the conversation and continually give nonverbal feedback such as a nod or a smile. Remember, while your subject is speaking, avoid using verbal feedback as it will show up later in the video. We're going to provide a tip sheet that includes a list of questions and talking points you can use to get the conversation going. It's a good idea to review these before going in, but feel free to adapt these questions to your own situation or make up your own. Remember, we want this to feel like a conversation rather than just a rigid interview. One last thing to keep in mind is to keep your interview questions open-ended and cordial. Remind your subject to repeat the question back to you whenever they answer, so that instead of saying John, Teddy Bear Portraits, they say, "My name is John and I work with Teddy Bear Portraits." This helps maintain the continuity of the interview throughout the whole video. Remember, your voice won't be heard in the final product, only theirs. Thanks for taking the time to help us. This is an exciting year for Teddy Bear, and we're confident that these testimonials will help increase our social media presence and land you more customers. And as always, thanks and good luck on Picture Day.